Today's episode of DRL is brought to you by Hella Cocktail Company. My guests don't just come to DRL for me. They also come for the cocktails. Luckily, my friends at Hella Cocktail Company have my back. These guys make amazing mixes, from Bloody Mary to Margarita to Moscow Mule. They also make cocktail bitters, my secret ingredient, and now yours too. It's easy to feel like the best bartender in town when every bottle comes with a simple recipe on it. Hella Cocktail Company, bold flavor, real ingredients, hospitality. Mixing it up since 2011. Shop the collection on Amazon Prime or use code DRL online at hellacocktail.co for free shipping. Hello, my lovely listeners. Welcome back to another episode of DRL, where we're talking everything dating, relationships, and love. I'm your host, Tennesha Wood. Today, I have Grant with me.
What up?
So Grant does a little bit of everything. You're like a comedian, an actor, a journalist.
Pontificator? That's not a word. But I'm all over different things, different discussions and what have you.
So I met Grant when I was doing the Talkitecture podcast last year.
Talkitecture, fam.
And then, good shout out. And one of the things that we were talking about on that podcast was just dating in general. I was giving some dating advice and some tips around dating in New York and how to make it all work. And after the podcast, you hit me up and you were talking about the fact that you felt like you were being friend zoned.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't even felt like. You actually got to come back in hindsight like, no.
So I want to talk a little bit about the friend zone today and how one gets in and gets out potentially if they want to get out.
That's a fact. Yeah.
What happened in that situation?
Well, in all fairness, in New York, you date. Everyone's dating. You don't know exactly where you stand until you really know. So I actually don't have a problem being friend zoned. I think when I was speaking with you, the situation was we had already went on several dates. It wasn't like
how many dates?
It was like 3. It was like I grinded my dick on her. That's where we're at. Like I was just like, yo, I might be getting some pussy soon. Like it was like I was past the friend zone stage, but she kind of brought it back.
Okay, so date 3, you were grinding, meaning you hadn't had sex yet, though.
Oh no.
Okay,
no, there was no sex.
But it was on a path to that. You were on that.
There was no expectations for sex. There was expectations for more dates at the very least, right?
Okay, so date 3, it's going well. There's some hinting that more will happen. What happens after that?
It's just timing. That's all it was. You know, like she wasn't over somebody she was dating.
She told you that?
Well, she told me that she just got out of a relationship. Like in less of better words, I felt that's what she was saying because she was just saying like, hey, I just really want to take my time to get to know you. And, you know, sometimes, especially in New York, we move kind of fast. So in my space, I want to know where you stand. Do you like me or not? Check the box, yes or no. You know.
Did you ask her?
I asked her.
Hold on. I love how you said that all boldly. Like, check the box. Do you like me or don't you? Did you ask her? Kind of. Maybe I skirted around it a little bit.
You know what, though? I'm a Chicago nigga, Tennesha. Like, we don't really skirt. But I'm just saying that day, it's like if you're on a date and you're enjoying and you're getting vibes, you're not necessarily in the middle like, so, we're having fun. Do you like me? It wasn't like that. But it was like, I was open hanging out with her. And it was like, she told me, and here's the thing, I'm very empathetic of my black women and my sisters, and I know y'all go through a lot of bullshit sometimes in dating in New York. Now, I don't necessarily think that, dating in New York is the worst thing ever. Like, I don't view it like that. I feel like there's so much power in affirmations and like messages you put out. So if you put a message out like, dating in New York is horrible, that might be the experience you get, right? So I'm like, she wasn't like that, but she was someone that I felt like, you know, she had been dating somebody and then it wasn't really working out. So she was kind of opening herself to go on new dates, but she wasn't fully open, but yet we were hanging out.
She wasn't quite invested yet, but she was like, let me at least try, but her heart wasn't in it.
Right. And she was so fine. I was like, well, let me see what's happening.
But you knew that immediately that her heart wasn't really in it?
I kind of knew.
So then why even still, just because she was fine?
Niggas, we gonna
go.
Was
she fine like a ticket on the dash?
Look at you. Let me find out you got a tight 5 minutes.
I just needed to throw a Drake line out there.
Look. I look. You got it. And what I think with Shorty, she had it. And I know that we damn near could have figured something out. But for me, like, I'm the type of person where it's like, I generally I'm not gonna say 9 times out of 10, but like 8 times out of 10, like I kind of get like my way. You know what I'm saying?
How did she friend zone you? Like, how did she pivot that from date 3, things are going good, more can happen, to like, friend?
I think the friend zone, and fellas, if you listening to the podcast, and if you're smart, you would listen to Tennesha Wood's podcast. She talks about respect languages and all type of cool stuff. You can learn something. I listened to that pod, by the way.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm in my 30s. You know, the girl, she was a little younger. Not saying, she's immature, different things, but I've also learned that there's a certain amount of communication where it's just kind of plain that you could do as you get older. Whereas, you know, I didn't know if she kind of had me pegged because in my past, I was kind of a player. So it's like, I'm not acting like I'm this saint either. Like, there's reasons why she probably friend zoned me.
So are you out of that stage now?
Oh, of course. Yeah, like I'm all the way.
Well, you said it like it was obvious. Like, of course. Like, it's not. Listen, like, some men are like that their entire lives and it never changes. So,
well, listen, like, I cannot speak to that narrative if that's true or false. I think that sometimes, and for most cases, any of my friends that are married, they made it a conscientious decision. They said, you know what? I got a good thing. I really love this girl. I'm going to try something new. Or not even try something new. I'm going to give something new a chance, because that's what it is. When you take a chance on love and you really appreciate somebody, you don't have certain sentiments. Like, you know, for me back in the day when I was in Chicago, I was a columnist for Chicago Tribune. Like, I was, you know, promoting parties and I was out on the scene. I was very social. Like, my fallback game was entirely too strong. Like, it was petty. My fallback game.
I don't need this. I got another one. Goodbye.
Right. And that's petty. Like, you can't live your whole life like that. And I think it takes a time, and that's
an ego thing though. It's an ego thing to say, this person did me wrong, but they don't matter because I've got more and more and more and more. That's just like your ego talking. That's not your heart or your sensibilities, because your heart and your sensibilities actually knows, I do want to be around somebody special. Like, I do want to exchange that love. I don't want to do this night after night after night. Like, I don't actually think anybody does.
You said night out of night, like I was Scottie Pippen. Damn.
But I'm saying, like, you know, I think like there's this idea that men want the sort of thing where I'm with this girl Monday, this girl Tuesday, this girl Wednesday, and I got it made because I'm doing that. I actually don't think any man wants that. I think they like the idea of it, but I think we all actually want consistent love. I'm
going to tell you one thing what I think what man wants. We want to be understood. A lot of times, I think there's so much debate and discussion on love, and one of my good fraternity brothers, shout out A5A, by the way, he brought up
I was going to assume that just based on the color of your shirt.
This is gold, this is yellow. You know, I mean, I'm old. I don't have Perry anymore, Tennesha, so I just like to have summer festive attire.
Got it.
But the question that my brother posed to me and a couple friends was like, and I'm going to ask this to you, would you prefer love or respect, if you can only pick one? And why?
Well, if somebody loves you, they respect you. But I don't think somebody that respects you might not love you. So I would, I guess, rather love, because that to me comes with respect. Like, for me to tell another person I love you, incorporated in that is I respect you. Me saying I respect somebody might be for a myriad of different reasons. I might respect your work. I might respect the way you look at the world. But that doesn't mean I love you. That doesn't mean I care about you. It means I have I put you on a certain plane, but it doesn't translate to everything, if that makes sense.
No, that's a great point. I mean, like, because he was actually saying something similar, but he said more so on the respect standpoint. He ended up putting it on Facebook, and a lot of the guys said respect. A lot of men was in the comment section, they said respect, and a lot of women were saying love. And I was asking him, I said, so why do you think respect? And he was like, well, you know, love is fleeting. Somebody can love you today and don't love you tomorrow, and then now what do you have, you know? And it's like, I've actually had respect for people that I have love for. And I'm like, yo, I really rock with this person. There's a reverence, but maybe the person's shady. Maybe it's something there that's kind of prohibiting the love, even though, as we know, unconditional love, real love, you don't give it because you're getting, you give it. It's not a tit for tat thing.
And I don't think unconditional love is fleeting. Like, I've never unconditionally loved somebody and then
Gave it back on some reneged it.
Like, be like, don't love you anymore. Like, I'm the type that stays friends with my exes because of that reason. Because I'm like, well, if I loved you then, I love you now. And just because our status changes, like, how does my love then just disappear? Like, it never does. Like, if I loved you once, I love you now. Do you feel like men don't get enough respect from women, or like you personally? When
I was younger, there was a lack of respect sometimes. And it wasn't like, it wouldn't even be when it was something that was just playful. It would be when it would be something serious. Like, it would be girls that I would be genuinely interested in. But I'm also kind of silly. You know, I'm very playful, I'm very jovial, and I would meet women that was fine, and they had all this stuff going for them, and they thought I was a certain guy because, you know, I carry myself in a way, you know, maybe I'm wearing the button-ups, or, you know, I look like I'm all put together, but I'm silly as hell, you know what I'm saying? Like, my parents, they are from the hood. Like, I'm not from the suburbs. I'm not a Jack and Jill kid. Like, I'm a down-to-earth guy, you know what I'm saying? And I think when I would meet...
There's nothing wrong with the suburbs.
I mean, it's not, but women look at them type of niggas a certain way, like, oh, he's tucked in. He's the tucked in guy. And I used to kind of get treated like a tucked in guy.
My friend calls them button-ups.
Think about it. You see that shit all day long in Harlem. Shout out Harlem. But it's like, I live in Brooklyn. I'm like, I like to wear my hoodies. I like my jeans. Yes, President Obama and them might have gave me an invite to the White House and I had a suit on. I could do both.
Okay.
So
how do you think women see you? Like, what's the light that you think, like, when women are walking down the street and they look at you, like, how are they seeing you? How are they portraying you? Like, what type of box are they putting you in?
I think they're putting me in the quirky, witty entertainer box. Like, he's probably...
Isn't that who you are?
That's one side of it. Like, my roommate, because here's another thing. I've lived with women for like the last 4 years of my life. Like, I've only picked women roommates to live with. I like the communication aspect. I like learning. Like, women are very detail oriented. Like, they pay attention to detail. They're very pragmatic. That's something I've always appreciated. Like, I just like being around women. Like, I'm a Gemini. I'm a June baby. I've always liked being around women. You know, like, I go hiking with women. Like, I go brunch. And it's not like you looking at me like, oh, you be talking. No, nope.
You just like that energy and like the way they see things.
I love the energy. I love the way they see things, even if it's something I don't agree with. Like, I follow girls on Twitter that are problematic, that male bashing niggas. But they are very intelligent, and I keep following them, and I like want to know how they think. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, I can see that. Oh, that's cute. But to answer your question, I think back then they saw me like a player, like very...
Was that ever true?
It was. I thought I was low key. I thought I was smarter than what I was.
Okay,
I thought like
if it was in fact true, and that's what they were seeing, where's the lie?
Well, because you got to listen to your whole question. Like, if that's the truth, that doesn't encompass your whole question.
But at the time, if that was a part of who you were.
But even then, I was still serious. Like, for example, like, there's certain sides of me no one would ever know unless they were really like truly in my like friend group. Like, I like to read a lot. I'm a voracious reader. Like, I like to chill in the house. I like watching Jeopardy. Like, I'm sitting in the house. Like, my IG story might not show that, but since I don't showcase that side on IG story, all of a sudden, I can't be that.
So you feel like people have been taking one piece of you or what they see in the moment and sort of making that
crafting
your whole life, and
then slicing, and it's like, if I'm not turning up, they're like, what's wrong? Are you sad? So then that's that part too, where it's like, yo, you can't even just be relaxed and just be in the corner.
Like, I have to be that person you think I am all the time now. I have to be that turned up.
I had to get out that shit, Tennesha. And this is another turning point. I was going out with this girl, and she was like older. I usually like older women. Like, I don't know. And that's another weird thing. Like, I like vets. Like, you know, I like Corvettes. You get it? Room, Corvette.
Okay, so you're 30. What's your age?
I just turned 35.
Okay, so when you say older, like, how much older are we talking?
Well, I was dating older women when I was like in my 20s. So like, I would say the oldest girl I dated was like 44, 45. She had like Pam Grier vibes.
Wow.
Yeah. Like,
now, are you dating those older women for fun, or would you actually settle down?
Back then, I was fucking having a good time. I can't say. I just knew they older women. And I'm just, again, this is being honest. Like, I never was the misleading person that was like, oh, I love you, I want to be with you forever, just getting what I want. No, that's not what I was doing. I was like, hey, I'm outside, I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me. This is all the information. I'm putting it on the table. Are you cool with this? I felt like at the time when I was moving around, really having a good time, older women were a lot more suited to understand that type of conversation versus if I told that conversation to a younger girl, she would, oh, you ain't shit, you ain't this, and got mad. And I'm like, damn, you judging me.
Upset at the honesty.
I'm just telling you the truth, lady. I like you.
Which I appreciate and respect. Like, I appreciate somebody who just says, here's where I am. Here's what it is. I'm giving you the option to take it or leave it, but at least you know.
But that's why I brought this up, because I want the women listening to the pod to recognize and hear this. Appreciate people where they're at, because that's why they lying to y'all. They're telling you what you need to hear. It's not enough. So now you got the dude, he got 3-4 girlfriends, and he lying to all of them just so he can fuck. All he really wanted to do was say, I just want to fuck. I'm attracted to you.
Grant, that's a word.
I'm just saying.
A word.
You got me drinking whiskey. I'm going to tell the truth anyway, but I'm sipping now.
If you were being honest and authentic about who you are, and somebody says, I don't like that, it's just not for you.
It's just not for you, and that's okay. Like my mother, she has this saying, I don't want to be with nobody who don't want to be with me.
Preach.
She would say that all the time, and it kind of went, and maybe it was an ego thing, but if I was hanging out with a girl, I went on a date, I could be at Buffalo Wild Wings or Hooters, shooting a napkin in the garbage can, thinking I'm Jordan. I hit the shot, and I'm having a good time, like, yeah. And this one particular girl might have been like, you shot a napkin in the trash can. You're immature. In my mind, I'm already knowing, like, oh, you're not the one for me. I can't be myself.
100%.
I'm the type, if there is something not going, like, right, like, I would ask, like, even the friend zone topic. Like, I have friends that we talk about friend zone, and the issue isn't friend zone. The issue is misleading.
The issue is communication.
Oh, it's all communication.
The issue is communication.
Because guess what? If I led a girl on, and didn't really want to talk to her, but let her take me out, let her give me drinks for free, let her take me out to dinner.
Wait, are you the type letting girls just buy you drinks all night, or like what was that?
I mean, guess what?
What?
If a girl want to buy me some drinks all night, hell yeah. If it's my birthday or something, why not?
I mean, not on your birthday, just on a regular day.
You trying to typecast me so have people in the comment section like, oh, that nigga ain't shit.
I'm just asking.
No, if you going out with a young lady, especially if you initiate the date, you're supposed to be buying drinks. But I will tell you this. When I've gone on dates and I got the first couple rounds and the girl been like, yo, I got the next couple rounds, I like that girl way better than the girl that just let me keep on getting the rounds. I mean, just being honest, because it's thoughtful. Because I'm about consideration. I don't know if that's a love language, but I love a considerate.
It's a respect language.
I receive #respect languages. I appreciate consideration. Like, are you gonna just keep on letting me do this? Like, are you gonna let me go broke tonight? Because I might go broke tonight because you that fine. Or are you gonna be like, no, I really like him. We don't even gotta do all this. Matter of fact, guess what? Look. Like, close out. Let's go walk. Let's do this. Let's do, like, I'm into the imagination. I'm into consideration. Any relationship that I've been in that's like kind of been like a longer relationship, it's always been rooted in that. And it's whether, I guess, over the years, if that subsides and you lose trust, that's something totally different. But like from the situation, from me talking to you, like, because you're the guru, I felt like it was worth pursuing. And you told me, like, no, just leave shorty alone. And I followed your advice, and she started hitting me up more. And I remember one time, but I was already done. But the weird part is, what if I would have went back? It's like, that's a game. And
that's gamey. I don't like that.
I don't like the game.
Now that I've moved on, now you're calling me more. And it's like, do you really like me, or did your ego get bruised because I stopped communicating with you on a level that you felt was necessary?
I'm going to tell you what it is. Sometimes motherfuckers just be drunk, and you might run into them at the right place.
You're like, it's not about ego. It's about what time of day it is and how much they had to drink.
I tell a lot of my niggas sometimes with the friend zone shit, I'm like, look, let me just see that lady in person. Like, you can do it take you an hour, a day to respond to the text. Let me see you in real life. I will know what the energy is.
When people like do all this texting and like online dating, I'm like, you stop that. Just
stop it.
Meet
go
up in person. There is no way.
Body language don't lie.
To just figure out what somebody's energy is over text. Like, you can't do it no matter what words are there on the phone. Like, you can't.
But again, why people want to do it over text and over the phone?
Because they're shy and they're
and they want to keep their attention, nigga. That's why. I just said it. You heard that # attention, nigga. Y'all like attention, niggas. Women, a lot of women want to keep niggas in that friend zone just so they can get their attention. Like, they like those good morning texts. Hi, beautiful. How are your day? Like, they might not even respond to that shit, but they do like it.
But it's not even real. Like, I want it from somebody that means something to me.
So you telling me you don't have no attention niggas?
No, not at all.
You've never had an attention nigga, Tanisha?
There is nobody in my phone right now that I don't want there, or I don't feel a certain sort of way about. And way meaning a good way. Like, there's nobody that's just like texting me to text me. I think that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's weird when people are just like, hey, and I'm like, what's up? Like, I'm not really a texter, though, in general. I'm like meet me there, 5 o'clock, see you then. Here's
Yeah.
the bar, here's the place, here's the time. But like,
Yeah.
I think that's like, why are we like wasting our time just to get attention?
Yeah.
Like, why not have that attention from somebody that like really loves you or really respects you or that you're really learning from or that you really feel a connection to? But just having somebody on your phone like, hey, and it's like, but why? Why waste the time? Why? Stop texting people.
Yeah, but I do say I do regret. I got a call. It was late and I missed it. It was like that girl that I was telling you about. She had text.
The friend zone girl?
The friend zone girl. She called me at like 2 a.m. and I missed the call. And I'm like, what the fuck was on her mind at 2 a.m.? And fuck. And I ended up
You know what's on her mind
I
at 2 a.m.
texted her in the morning and she tried to play it off like, oh, da da da.
My bad.
And I was like, damn. And that was
I
literally.
butt-dialed you.
Exactly. I'm like, you keep it funky. But it's just one of those situations where it's like I was happy that I didn't keep chase, because that's like a cat and mouse game. Because it's almost like, because guys, we like to chase, but what happened when there was other girls. What happened when I actually started taking my time and connecting with somebody that really appreciated me on the same level that I appreciated her.
So let's talk about that, actually. Stop right there. Is there somebody currently appreciating you and that you are appreciating?
Well, I'm not even going to throw other girls under the bus, because I'm certain in the past there were other girls appreciating me. I just was not at the space and time to accept the appreciation.
Let me break that. Let me re-ask that. Do you have a girlfriend?
Yes. But I just wanted to preface that conversation to apologize on my Jay-Z 444 shit, because I can't be on this relationship podcast doing all the thoughts that I did and not actually get on that, because, it's like my current girlfriend is great. And
How long have you guys been together?
Well, I've known her for like over 6 years.
How did the partnership come together?
Man, the partnership was wacky. So it started off, I met her at a house party, and it wasn't like one of those like super juking house parties. It was like it was kind of close knit, and there was a girl across the room, and she was looking fine. She was wearing all black, and you kind of make the eye contact, right. And my friend was like, "Hey man, that lady bad," and I was like, "Yeah, she is bad," but I don't let that be something. I'm like, well, what does that mean? That she's looking over here? She could just be, looking over there, looking at me. But I ended up going over.
You could just be sitting by the food that she's trying to eat.
Niggas, we be reaching. We like, oh, she sent me a smiley emoji. That bitch going. It's like, it don't be. Niggas, look, if you. Well,
you know what a smiley emoji means, right?
What is a smiley emoji?
It's just a smiley emoji.
What about the blush emoji? Because I know my niggas, when they get a blush emoji, they go crazy.
It's just a blush emoji.
So
when I speak in emojis, when I'm like, I'm busy, I don't have time to write back. Emoji.
Look, I tell girls, like, stop sending them emojis. Niggas thinking you about to be sucking dick. Like, relax. Relax.
If I don't send an eggplant, I'm not doing anything.
Well, eggplant, that's cultural at this point. But no, the girl, so I end up going over, talking to her, and, she's French, Caribbean, like we're talking. She has this sexy accent, and she's talking.
Oh, she has a French accent?
She's talking,
Okay.
She's like, hello, how are you? It's not Grant, it's Grant, it's different, what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, and mind you, she's black. I know it's how people listen, oh, he was single all them years, he had to find a little French white girl. No, she's black.
I love how you
she always, black.
No, you always say Caribbean though, to make sure that people know that you're like, she's French, Caribbean.
Look, don't judge me, but here's another thing. If that was a white girl that I was in love with and that was the person I chose, I wouldn't feel that was adequate for them to judge me. I'm speaking on behalf of my friends that have that. It's weird. They get judged. They get weird looks. They not looking at Serena Williams like that when she walking down the street with her man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
right.
Let's keep the same energy and let's have people love one another, because we come to New York, no matter where we came from, we were brought here. And to find like dope engagement and great interactions with someone, that's powerful. You know what I'm saying?
No matter who that is.
My grandmother's Ghanaian. You think my grandmother was like, are you going to marry a Ghanaian woman, an African woman? So it's like, if I was to bring a black girl to the house, maybe my grandma might be mad. Right. And that's black. We colored. We all got the same color.
She's like, she ain't from our tribe.
She not from our tribe. So, it would be the same thing I would tell my granny, like, look, man, I done found love in a hopeless place, man.
Found love in a hopeless place.
Hey. But, so we started talking, and it turns out, like, she was like, I was just getting ready to be done dating somebody. Like, I was still in something, but I just met this
in
new
a
girl.
Relationship?
Yes, I was finishing up.
Why didn't you say that? Why do men do that?
Why do y'all do that?
No, you said I was still in something. Like, what is something? Like, you could just say a relationship.
It could be a situationship. It's different somethings.
Was it a relationship?
It's all interpersonal. Okay, yes. Yes.
So you were in a relationship.
Yes. So I met this young lady, so it wasn't the right time.
Okay.
And she was also doing like a long distance dating. It wasn't really the best time. But we really liked each other. And like when I got single, because I mean, honestly, by the time I met her, I was out. Like it wasn't even like, the relationship was like, it's like a floss. It's like some string, okay? Like I was literally...
We're walking on a tightrope.
It was
this
super...
might end.
It was super tight. So for me, it was like, even though I knew I was in a clear, it was like, I don't like to be the person when I'm just fresh out of something or getting ready to go through something to just hop into something. I don't want to be the person that's bashing my ex like, oh, she was insecure. She didn't trust me.
Well,
it's
people
like,
don't deal with their feelings. You know what I mean? So you might get out of something.
Yeah.
And then instead of dealing with like, well, what was my part in that? What could I have done better? What could I have improved?
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, she did this or he did that.
Yeah.
And it's like, take a moment to like acknowledge your part in it and then figure out what you need to do different so that the next time you're not doing that same thing or repeating those same patterns.
Because you picked that mate. And
so
that's
what was wrong with you if you picked that
you
mate?
picked that mate. So it's like, I don't like to do that. I'll be like, yo, it wasn't good timing. I wasn't in a good space. Like I've had girls that were great girls. Maybe I just lost my job and I was broke in the moment and then they switched up. But maybe if I had good bread in the moment, maybe they would have stayed down. You know, it's just like different things. It's like you can't force somebody like like I just like to like listen and like I'm always around older people and like one of my older like cousins is always saying like, hey man, I'm not asking you for trust. I'm not asking for it. You're gonna just give it to me. And that shit was very poignant to me because it's like when you start getting in this situation, you gotta respect me and you gotta do. That's when it's gonna.
It's already done. They already don't. If you have to ask for it, it was never there.
It was never there. So it's like I'm very cognizant of these type of systems and I'm paying attention to these things. And like when I got out that relationship and I met my
French Caribbean.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I want to really just go all in. But I'm going to tell you what I did do. I took a step back, and we were both in a situation where we really liked each other, but it just wasn't good timing. I know I hurt her, basically, because I know she was ready to just be with me. And subconsciously in my mind, I was ready to be with her, but I really wasn't ready. And I just need to
You needed that time.
I needed that time. And you know what? That space, I kind of left her alone, was a dangerous zone because, she
could have found somebody else in the interim.
I was lucky. I felt like God blessed both of us to kind of still be open to kind of reconnect. And like, we end up linking up like, maybe a year and a half, 2 years later, and it worked out well. And when the second time when we connected, it was like, look, let's just go on dates. I don't want to have sex with you. I don't want to do anything. I just want to really get to know you and do these things the right way because I feel like there might be something there, but it just I needed that time to know for real, because I felt like in the past, I used to jump from one situation to the next situation. I used to be that person. And I feel like there's not a lot of growth in that. And I remember when I started dating her again, she was like, yo, you're like a lot more mature. Like what have you been doing?
You needed that time.
I mean, I did life coaching. I went to therapy. Like I was really doing different.
Tell us about therapy. What was therapy like?
There's certain things in life that you don't really know are like triggers or like factor in to who you are. Like for me, like I'm kind of like, I've always been like a glutton for punishment in some ways. Cause they all like my motto is, the real always lands. So the situation doesn't have to be perfect for me to be okay. So I could be in a situation that's kind of fucked up and like have a very positive sensibility from it. But I think sometimes you got to know, look, this energy's fucked up. I don't have to be over here. I don't have to succumb or try to justify some fucked up shit just for the sake of I'm powerful, I'm strong, I can handle this.
Like thinking that bad always has to come with good.
Correct.
Like I'm in a great space right now, so of course there has to be some BS that's going to accompany this and always accepting that part of it as a part of the good, when in reality, like bad doesn't always need to exist with good. Like good can just exist on its own. Like when you're having a good day, it's not like, oh, well, something bad's going to happen by the end of the day. It's like, no, you could just have a good day. You could have a good week, a good year, a good life. Like it doesn't have to come with this, like, I got to pay my dues with the bad. You don't have to do that. Yeah, but
the interesting thing about that is I think a lot of us, we come from very dysfunctional families. Like it's just, we're learning very bad habits at a young age. Like, if you're growing up in a household, there's not a mom and a dad, you're seeing how people talk to each other and it's disrespectful or it's loud or it's dismissive, like there's too much sarcasm or just too real. Like we do this thing where we're like, yo, I'm just real. Like I remember one thing
which is a way to not respect people.
Correct. Like,
I'm just being real.
I'm being real. Like, this is real. Like, there was this one, like, life coaching session I went to, and there was an exercise where I had to pick. Well, there was a whole group. We had to pick somebody just to handle the money. Like, it was a game. We needed somebody to be in control of the money. Mm-hmm. And there was different people that was like, pick me. And, you know, I picked the Asian guy. Like, I did. Like, I picked the Asian guy. I did. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I picked the Asian guy. I'm like, yo, stereotype, whatever. And
you look like you'll be good at math.
You'll be great at this. Let's go ahead and plug you in this right now. And when the exercise was over, we were all going around and we're talking. And, you know, the guy, he kind of picked up on something. He was like, I can tell you're the type of person, like, you like to wield your sword. Like, I'm a truth teller and I'm just saying the truth and I'm keeping it real. And because, again, it was people mad at me because I picked the Asian person. And I was just like, yo, I mean, that's kind of how I felt about it. And I was just living in my truth. And he told me something. He's like, sometimes
I was living in my stereotypical truth.
He was like, your truth can hurt people. And it was his sister, and she was, you know, a really kind sister, black girl. She was nice. She was like, I'm really great at math, and that was fucked up that you didn't pick me, and, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, I looked around, I was like, man, a lot of people didn't pick you, lady.
It wasn't just me. Everybody picked the Asian guy.
Everybody picked the Asian guy. But then afterwards, I actually had to go sit down and think about it. And I was like, you know what? That is fucked up sometimes. Because you know what? I don't try to spare people's feelings. I'm just like, you gotta catch this truth.
My truth is my truth, and you
gotta
must
listen.
have it.
Check this out. So it's like it taught me, like, kind of like my upbringing, like kind of where I came from. Like, all my people from the project. So these people are not worried about the time and the place to tell you some shit. They're gonna go ahead and let that shit ring off.
But the thing is, when you speak your truth, are you speaking it because I want people to grow from this, or am I just speaking it because, like, I want to put it out there? You know what I'm saying? Because if you really want people to be enriched by and grow from something, mm-hmm. you'll say it in a way that makes sense to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's different ways to deliver truth.
Oh, I think that's the difference between very, very wise people and very just, like, shrewd motherfuckers that don't get... I mean, because at the end of the day, you want to be heard. People want to be understood. I think if I'm speaking my truth, it's because, A, I love you enough to share it with you because I want you to know where I'm coming from, and I want you to know maybe it might better you. You know, like, I've seen situations where it's like I know people have anger issues, and I'm like, yo, maybe you should go to therapy. And I don't need therapy. And it's like, okay.
Yes, you do. If you act like that, yes, you do.
But if I do what you just did there, I'm going to get cussed out. If I just leave it alone and don't say shit, then maybe that person might come around later. But it's like, I can't be the person, because I feel like I'm partly responsible. If I'm somebody's family member or somebody that, like, I love this person and I'm not letting them know the truth.
But everybody takes truth in it. Like, that's what I'm saying. So for some people, you might be like, hey, just so you know, you need therapy. And they might take that and receive that and appreciate that and do it. Mm-hmm. For some people, it might just be like, okay, I have to do a whole thing. I got to, like, take them out fishing. I got to slowly mention it. Like, you know,
I'm not walking on eggshells, Tennesha.
I have a friend that's in therapy and they've really gotten a lot from it. And, like, you know, I don't know. Like, so it's like some people, there's like a slow build for them to, like, build trust enough for you to deliver that information. But, like, if your purpose is, I want you to receive this information and use it to better yourself, you do have to do it in a way that they understand. It can't always just be like, yo, I'm here in this moment and the truth I'm delivering is the truth I'm delivering. If you really want me to hear it, you're going to say it in the language that I can understand. And
you know, the best way, I think, and it's what I've been trying to do more, is just work on myself. Because I think we're so quick to finger point. And we don't ever really sit and say, okay, what should I work on? Like, sometimes I could get very defensive, you know what I'm saying? And not to be defensive, like, you tell me something and I just want to flip it on you. Mm-hmm. But I might have like, if I came here late, you know, I came on time. You know what I'm saying? I came on time. But let's say I came late and I was like, well, you know, I'm late because I did this and then I did that and the B36 bus was slow. And, you know, after that, you don't want to hear all that shit. You just want to, like, be like, yo, my bad. And I think that's kind of where we got to be as men and women, just like when we're in these situations, just kind of have accountability. And I had to kind of really take a deep look in the mirror to say, what am I doing wrong? Because a lot of those years, especially in my 20s, I was just a thought breaker. Like, I was just having too much fun. Like, it wasn't right. And I had to kind of go and think, okay, why was I kicking it that hard? What was I missing in my life?
Because that's what it is. You were missing something that you feel like you had to find in other ways.
I'm going to tell you the truth, though.
What?
Man, I wasn't missing shit. I was just young and I was kicking it, okay? Some people need to get that out their system. Like, when I watch She's Gotta Have It, now...
Don't ruin it for me. I actually haven't watched it yet.
So I ain't gonna say nothing. All I'm gonna say is that's an alternate reality because where I'm from, niggas ain't falling in love with her. They gonna just keep on having a good time with her. And that's gonna be that. And that's cool until she kind of decides, you know what, I really want something serious. And then that's gonna take time too, because if you have a reputation, just because you have a reputation, just because you're in a new space and you're like, oh, this is what I want to be, people might have heard about you. So you got to deal with that too. Like I
heard about you.
I spent many years having to deal with that. Like it was girls that I had a reputation.
You had a reputation.
It worked, and
it followed you.
It worked in my favor, I will say. But in the same token, it was like, you don't want to be in a new city and having, you know what I'm saying, that be a thing. You want to be able to kind of,
you want to be able to reinvent.
Surprise.
Change.
Like, hey, yeah, he's a great guy. He's cool. He wears glasses now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a nerd.
Now that you wear glasses and you're with this French Caribbean, how do you feel this relationship is different from your previous or past relationships where you maybe didn't have this clarity on yourself or the sort of maturity that you do today?
Well, I'm in a better place career-wise. It's interesting. Like, I used to write for Chicago Tribune and do like a lot of media stuff, but I wasn't getting paid a lot. It was just like little gigs here, little gigs there. I might have been dating a doctor or a lawyer, and it's like, they had like way more money than me. So it's like I used to have like things, because like when you're creative, people don't know about the creative struggle. I was very shallow. I think I let go of the shallowness. Like my current girl.
Did that affect you in the past when you would date women that made more money than you?
Because you know what it was? I was dating girls that on paper were great, but they weren't really for me. And like in my mind, I'm like, they look a certain way, they body nice, they got a certain like pedigree. They went to this university, they got this going. It can't account for the energy, and many times I would make omissions on that.
So your girlfriend now, how are things? Would you say? Like, would you say that you're planning for a future? Would you say that you're taking it day by day?
I would definitely say we're planning for a future. We just know each other very well. I went to Paris. I met her mom. Like, she's been in Chicago. She's met my mom. Like, my family loves her.
Oh, so there's family integration. This is going well.
There's some family integration.
This is going well.
So it's like, for me, it's just.
How old is she?
She's my same age.
Okay.
Yeah, mid-30 gang. We hanging out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like.
Because there's just. I think at a
you're gonna give me a stereotype right now.
No, at a certain age, I think like things just move faster based on one, knowing who you are, and two, knowing what your goals are and what you want out of life. So if you're both at this age, like things do tend to progress a lot faster.
Yeah, but there's still challenges. I feel like we all still have things. Because example, you love somebody, you want it to work. You know what I'm saying? You have patience. Like when I was younger, I had no patience. I got
no passion. I got no patience.
And I hate waiting. Mama, get your ass in here. Could you please come in here? By the way, you're looking really nice. I love this dress. This summer dress is flowery. Yes. Have a seat.
Glad you switched that up.
Sit down. But it's just like we cannot be the same person that we were in our early 20s than we are in our mid 30s.
Absolutely
I hope I'm not the same person at 40. And I want to put it out there because I like positive affirmations. We're going to both be rich when we're in our 40s.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's a common progression. And I'm at a space where it's like, I don't need to be rich to find love. I used to kind of like curve girls. So I'm like, I'm not really where I want to be.
Men do that a lot. Men feel like their career completely depends on the type of woman they get. They worry about, am I making the right amount of money today? Am I doing this? And it's like, it's not about that. It's about like your plan, your goal, your confidence, and your ambition. And like, what are you doing to get there?
And the girl, because sometimes there's just the right girl. Like there's certain girls, they don't understand that guy's plan because and it's a meme going around. Like people living their lives off the memes, but sometimes you see certain type of conversations in the memes and it makes perfect sense. And like one of those like messages was like, people can only meet you from their perception, like where they're at. Like if they've never had a podcast, if they've never been on TV, if they've never, been a ballet instructor, they can't tell you anything about being in ballet because they haven't done that. So I think sometimes you date people, they don't have no clue where you're coming from. All they know is my girlfriend's boyfriend is doing this, so your ass got to be doing this. And if you ain't doing this, you're not really valid. You're not valid. You're not valuable because I can't brag to you like I want to my homies. And I think that's the issue with a lot of women.
Yeah, see, that's like a small-minded perspective if somebody's actually thinking like that. Because really,
some people think like that.
You don't have to understand the nitty-gritty. So I don't have to be like, yeah, I'm I understand finance in and out. And so he wants to do finance and I'm on board with that. What I'm saying is you have to understand the energy that a person is putting into something, right? Mm-hmm. So whether you're a ballet dancer, you're in finance, you have a podcast, like you don't have to understand everything I do, but you do need to see like my drive and my ambition and like my goals. Do I have those things? What I use to make those things happen? It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a mic, it could be a dance floor, it could be whatever, but like that's what you have to see is like the things that are important. It's like that person's just drive and like what they want.
That's the word. That's like literally like that's what I've been thinking about like time and time. It's the drive. Like, you know, like one of my acting coaches, he said, hey, look, there's a lot of funny comedians, but what separates the greats from the nigga on the street that's funny? It's the drive. It's the push. The push defines
the everyday getting up even when it doesn't work. Like
now I will say this. In the past, I can't convince a young lady what my push is, what my drive is. If they don't feel it, they don't understand it, then I might not be for them. Right. And I think, again, you don't have to be a ballet enthusiast to recognize what goes into that. You have to believe. And I think men and women have to both confide in people they believe in. Because if you don't believe in a person, then it'll never work. 100%. You gotta believe. Like, you know, we all believe in something. So it's interesting to see what people believe in and confide in versus what they don't. And that's a really, really heavy conversation. And that's internal. Because you gotta
and that's trust. That's trust is being able to say, I don't necessarily see the whole thing or understand it, but based on who you are, I trust that you're working at it and you're getting there.
And also recognize that sometimes it takes a while. Like, look, I've been in New York 6 years. Like when I first moved here, I was working for a startup company. I was making some really good money. I had a condo, 184 Kent. It was going well. And then it wasn't. And when it wasn't, I felt like a bum again. I was like, wait a minute. I'm not a bum. Like, I'm out here for a reason. Like, this shit is going to crack. And I'm not going to let one little thing derail me. So if anybody doesn't want to be in my life because I made, you know, this L or taking this L or whatever, that's on you. And I will say this.
And how I would judge you off of that is, did you get back up?
Of course. And I'm going to tell you.
That's the end of the day.
And you should judge me like this, too. Because I could have actually got back with that girl, and I didn't do it because I'm not a petty guy. Because she was definitely trying to link up again. And it was like, for me, a lot of guys, we do shit out of spite. I mean, humans in general. And I'm just not that spiteful. It's just like, it didn't work out. Whatever you did after the fact didn't work out. And let's just keep the past in the past. I think we also should start doing that because we're so comfortable in our past that, you know, girls just tell me, like, I don't want to get no new body, so I'm going to just go back to this old nigga that don't really want shit. So I'm going to just, it's like, why do that? Like, girls tell me, like,
why move backwards in any way?
I'm at a space in my life where I'm happy and I'm just enjoying myself and I'm just trying to see where things can go. Like, I'm not always right. I'm not always wrong. It's not even about being right. I'm just like, what's the understanding aspect?
So what's next for you?
Next for me is hopefully like a Netflix comedy special. Like I got an agent. I'm signed, you know, so.
That's dope. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
That's a big deal.
It's been a long time coming.
So where can people reach you?
You can find me, GY312. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Same thing, GY312. Snapchat, I'm Giandon. And Grant Yanni, that's my government. And, you know.
Do you do comedy anywhere?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of comedy. I host at Comic Strip. I did New York Comedy Festival like this past fall. So there's more stuff coming. But like right now, I just got back out here. So.
Well, keep us updated on the gram and Twitter and wherever else.
Keep me updated, man. I love what you're doing. And,
Thank you.
know, it's just positive. You know, I love that you're opening up this platform for people to learn new things. Like you bring different guests that have different, you know, levels of experience that you can learn along the way. Like being a dude that used to be that Lothario, I want dudes that like women a lot to be like, no, dude, you can just rock with that one you really like. And you don't got to rock with the girl that's right there in the moment. You can actually just go out for what you want and just do that. And you don't got to be messy. And you don't, it's just so many different.
That's the word.
It's so many different things. But because people like you and you're getting the word out, we can have these type of conversations. So I thank you for inviting me and also
thank you for coming,
being understanding and letting me talk my shit.
Yes, and I appreciate all your words. Cheers.
Yes.
And please reach out to me at Tennesha Wood on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and let me know what you think of the show today. And also don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe.
Enjoy your hot girl summer. Enjoy it. But be safe.
And until next time, wish me love. Hello again, my lovely listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of DRL. If you like the show, be sure to go on iTunes and leave a rating and also write a review. And don't forget to share with your friends and tell them all about DRL. Thank you so much for supporting.